Hello, tea friends. I don't know.
Hello. Hello.
Welcome. We are doing some Liubao here.
Yep.
Some dark tea. This is Heishi Liubao, which is, I believe, the specific region that it is grown. Probably should be using pot, but we're not, so whatever.
Deal with it, tea please.
Yeah, so this one is from Zealousy. Thank you, Zealousy, for sending this to me. And I have not tried this before, but thought it'd be fun to give it a blind try with Denny here for the first time. So.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah. It definitely has an interesting aroma.
Yeah.
Leaves are tiny.
Yep.
So
very bud heavy.
Yeah.
And Denny said that he's smelling and tasting great, so he's going to give you all the tasting notes for this episode.
Oh, wow.
So I'm just going to, sit back, make some tea, and judge Denny by his comments.
This tea sure tastes like tea to
Every
me.
time he does, I'm going to hold up something that's like 4.5.
Right.
I'm not rating the tea, to be clear. I'm rating Denny's comments.
Commentary.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah. Literally said before the episode, like, I'm just, like, not right there with the tasting on this stuff yet from COVID and blah, blah, blah.
We are trolling here at TDBM.
Oh, man.
For a troll.
Okay, well, so to me, it smells like it's been hanging out for some time.
Yeah, and this is one of the ones where I asked Zealousy, okay, cool, how old is this? He's like, not sure, but it seems kind of old. And,
Yeah.
So
when there's like a white dust film on the leaves, you can kind of tell it's a pu'er. Interestingly, actually, it reminded me a bit more of source material pre-pressing in terms of the color of it before.
Interesting.
Although it wasn't as green, so this is very dark.
Yeah, so this one is supposedly a raw Liubao too, so it's not fully fermented. And Liubao has had a bunch of different phases in how they processed it. But oftentimes it is post-fermented, especially these days. So,
And one of the advantages of doing that is just speed, right? I mean, just from a commercial perspective, just makes you can just produce more tea more quickly.
Yeah, time to when the tea is ready, it's a lot faster.
Right. This is interesting. Yeah, it's got a really unique aroma, and interesting to see material like this. So was this pressed into a cake and then disassembled?
More likely a basket.
Okay.
Not sure what to make of the aroma, to be honest.
Yeah, it smells really different.
Might be heavy bamboo or something. I'm not totally sure.
Oops. That color on that. Gosh, for a tea that's producing that color of liqueur, the smell on that is really different than what I would be used to. Yeah. I would guess this is either a red pu'er or a really old raw pu'er. And it's probably, this is technically really old raw pu'er, but here we go.
Cheers.
Cheerio. Tastes much more like a ripe pu'er than I expected.
Like, not in a bad way.
No.
Yeah.
No, it tastes a lot like a ripe pu'er. It doesn't smell like anything like a ripe pu'er.
Yeah.
Weird.
So, Denny, on your COVID recovery, are there certain teas that have been easier for you to recover from and taste? And some that have been easier?
So, legitimately, initially, all I could do was really experience the texture of the tea, which was an interesting variable to experience the tea based on. And in that context, for me, white tea is like super. It's just so it's like drinking velvet. It's really lovely. So I drank a bunch of white tea.
Interesting.
I just had a bunch of oolong, so I would drink that. But not really. Pu'er was too hard for me to discern how much I was drinking of it, just to judge it correctly. Because my ability to tell if it was super strong or not was kind of off, and so it would hurt my stomach. So yeah, no, I didn't drink too much tea, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So it was more like you could only appreciate the texture. That's interesting because I would have thought maybe the high notes and stuff like that would be particularly difficult to pick up, and white tea does have a bunch of high notes, but it does have a very distinctive texture too, so.
I wasn't tasting a lot of that initially, and then the progression for me for my the turning of experiencing of food and flavors was I could suddenly start tasting spicy stuff, but only the spiciness. Sweetness, but only the sweetness. And bitterness, but only the bitterness. So it was like all of the things that make those things good were gone and away from them. It was just like the experience of pure sweetness or bitterness or spiciness, which is terrible. That's not very enjoyable by themselves. Yeah. This is sorry. Back to this tea. What do you place on this? What do you make of this?
I'm still getting a feel for it. I don't totally know yet. I mean, on one hand, I'd almost expect it to brew even darker. Okay, moving a little bit more into that vein.
Yeah.
I don't think this is one that'd be particularly easy to overbrew either. I suppose it depends on your definition. The aroma coming off of it is very interesting. It's sort of like ripe, but mostly not, in my opinion.
Yeah. There's that sort of like branch, woody fall thing going on in this, but yeah. Maybe just a hint of charcoal in there.
Yeah, really interesting.
Yeah.
Also, purely on the basis that this is less compressed and that it is a lot of just small, buddy leaves, we'd expect that it will extract itself a little faster than something like a ripe puer would, and so it might brew out just a touch faster.
Yeah. One of my favorite parts about drinking this tea is the mouthfeel. I find it to be really kind of pleasant, nice and thick.
Yeah.
And syrupy.
And I'd hesitate to give any sort of an age estimate on this because I just honestly have no clue. Yeah. It feels like it could be old, but I don't know.
Yeah, getting a bit of charcoal in the basey notes. The sweetness is not dying down, but other flavors are growing. It was very interesting. It tastes a lot like other stuff that I've had, but not so much that I would place it in those categories.
Right, yeah. Ultralight?
Probably not, because you really need a lid. You don't want something to filter with, because there's so much small pieces of leaves.
These would be pretty bad for the filter. But
the
flavor profile itself?
I think that actually it could work definitely. I think this probably would be fairly approachable for people who are new to tea but interested in trying something really different. So yeah, I think it would work.
How different from like a ripe or an old raw do you find this tea?
That's the thing. It's hard to say.
Would you say those are the right comparisons?
Yeah, 100%. But it's like a ripe puer that is just like not rougher but like deeper. I don't know, it's a terrible description of it. But like the basey notes are more intense. It tastes more natural.
Yeah. I mean, that's how you could kind of describe the difference between like old raw versus ripe too in a way too.
Right.
So like there's certain characteristics that only age can bring about.
Totally. Yeah. Or like if you've had like those kind of sour lambic beers and stuff, they just have this like funkiness about them that even if they're sweet and light and crisp, there's still this kind of like just livingness to it. And I get a lot of those kind of earthier flavors from this tea. I'm really enjoying it. This is not a daily drinker for me. This is a drink with a tea nerd friend. And think about it. Tea, definitely kind of a technical one.
Wait, are you calling me a tea nerd friend?
I'm calling you a high-tech tea nerd friend, beyond that.
Okay.
High technical expertise.
I accept that. Just kidding.
Looks beautiful. I think the storage is great. I think it tastes great. This is a winner for me. It's different though.
It is different.
Yeah.
I think I'm still getting a grasp on it. It's not like one where I had the first cup and I'm like, okay, I understand this tea.
Yeah.
It's just a little different from what I'm used to. I will say that the taste and the smell of it are fairly divergent too, in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's definitely, for me at least, it's something pretty easy that it goes down easy. Probably the correct place to have it is with like another tea friend, just because a tea like this is fairly rare and not super easy to find. But it's I think a nice profile. Okay, I'll do one more. Mom test, no, I assume?
No, yeah. It's too... confusing. It's too confusing. Some flavors you just want it to taste like passion fruit juice or whatever, right? It's like, oh, everyone likes that, you know?
Well, also, it's like when you're doing tea for someone that's like newer to, you want to give like a reference that's like a good reference.
Right.
As opposed to like...
How are we're struggling to place this.
Yeah, it's like, and we're on episode 437 or something. So, it's like...
Yeah. It's almost a tartness or a slight sourness. It's almost like sometimes you get that cherry flavor in ripe pu'ers, and this one almost has like a tart, sour cherry flavor to it.
Yeah. Probably mostly because I'm pushing it too. I'm trying to get everything out of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely does have that sort of like tart, dank cherry.
Yeah, it's interesting. And so something like this, James, because of the way that the leaves are in the cup, because of the smaller leaves in the earlier picking, what do you think in terms of longevity of a brew like this? Would it be something that's gonna go as long as a typical pu'er?
No, I don't think so. I think it'd go a little bit less. And I did actually load this up with even more leaves than I would normally do for a pu'er.
Yeah.
I did 5.5 for 75 milliliters, so it's a fairly high leaf to water ratio.
Yeah.
I would think that if you want to get like pretty solid flavor out of these steeps, maybe like 8.
Yeah, sounds right. Yeah, and the leaves themselves are really, really quite beautiful. They're very dark. The liqueur is gorgeous. It's got this kind of viscosity and thickness. It almost looks like there's a surface tension bubble on the water itself. It's really nice. Cheerio. You notice I'm stealing your thunder, by the way. I've been cheering out every time.
Yeah.
Cheerioing every time.
Cheerio.
Cheerio. So you push this one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I agree with you. You couldn't...
Losing a little bit of steam, yeah. But it's still kind of presenting more or less the same.
Totally. I don't think you could overbrew this. Maybe, but... I almost like this one the most.
Yeah, I mean, part of the challenge of tea, too, is just, like, making sure you get kind of the right brews. It's like something like this, I think, a lot more common to underbrew this than over. And then the previous tea that we had, I think that'd be a very easy tea to overbrew.
Totally.
So that raw linchong. So,
yeah.
Just a couple data points to think about.
It's always better for these older teas, I think, to use more leaf than less leaf. And extend your session, come back to the session later. After you've taken a break from it, you'll taste the strength of the tea again. This is great. How do people get this?
I don't think you can, but I do know that Three Bears Tea does sell a similar 1990s Heishi Liubao that is quite good too.
Okay, cool.
So I don't know how similar or different this tea is from that one because it's been a while since I've had that tea.
Got it.
I think you and I probably both enjoy this tea. I think I definitely come up fairly on the positive end for something like that.
I think so. Yeah, I think so too. I think this is a tea that for tea nerds who are probably this far in the episode, you're going to enjoy this tea. It's going to be different. If you've tasted what you think is a wide array of tea flavors and profiles, this might be something that you would want to look out for. Yeah, it's just fun to bring on teas that are sort of like, okay. I don't know, not that I don't like it or do like it, but I don't know how to place this perfectly yet.
Yeah, so, I mean, I would say 75% of it is easy to place.
Right.
Like within that sort of like old raw, old ripe category. And then it's like that last 25%. And it may have to do with the storage too, because it has a different aroma to it than like sort of like your Hong Kong traditional or something like that.
Yeah.
Too.
Gosh.
So it's it's a fun little tea.
Definitely. It just smells so much like a medicine shop in there. It's insane. Thanks for watching, you tea nerds. TDB.org. Subscribe. Switch to your cat's account and subscribe with your cat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love you guys.
Cheerio.
Peace. Cheerio.